for everyone who tunes into Snow Tracks, the reality is this is the start of our season. It's midway through our season, but we've just actually hit the snow. We're out here in Revelstoke and we're coming out to ride with Brock Hoyer and Randy Swenson, you know, snow bike guy, big mountain climber, and we're pretty excited to be out here and doing this in Revelstoke, BC.
I've been a lot of places riding snowmobiles. I've ridden trails, I've raced, I've done all kinds of things, ridden lots of mountains. But the one place I've never been and have heard so much good stuff about when it comes to mountain terrain is Revelstoke in BC, Canada. Why we've never been here just baffles my mind, but we're here now. So we pulled up into the unload parking lot run by the local snowmobile club here. It's a spot where everybody brings their trucks and trailers and unloads to go up the mountain. And we met up with Randy and Brock, two guys I've never personally met. I know a lot about them from following their careers in the industry, but I've never met them personally. Great guys. Equally as excited about doing this sport in general as we are, which is, I mean, that's just an instant bond right there.
Good to see you. How's it going?
It's going good.
Guys. Welcome to Revelstoke.
Thank you.
You know, I'm Scandinavian descent, so I really have a love of snow. My grandparents and my parents as well, and I certainly had a childhood background playing in the snow and living in the snow, and gravitated towards snowmobiles probably about 30 years ago.
Bringing me to the mountain is the beautiful terrain, but also a cross-training sport for motocross originally, and always looking for that next sport to train on, with sledding always being there, and ended up trying to do the snow bike stuff and got my first snow bike to cross-train for motocross.
We unloaded all of the new Viper turbos with the MPI kits on them, which we were pretty excited to ride because these sleds make big horsepower at, you know, doesn't matter what altitude, they're always making horsepower, which is great. So we unloaded the sleds in the parking lot, got geared up, and for day one, it was all about these Vipers.
As we rode out of the parking lot, we started in pretty skinny conditions, but it did not take long once we started going up the side of that mountain to get into some really, really beautiful snow conditions, some sun, and man, I can't even describe the awesome scenery as we were riding up the side of this mountain, kind of switchbacking, going up into the backcountry.
You're looking back out over the town of Revelstoke, and it's just like, it's amazing. I mean, you got mountains in the background, you got the river that runs through, you got the town, you just got all this beautiful scenery, and everything is covered in this, you know, just awesome layer of huge, deep snow.
The sun was shining, the snow was white. It was just the coolest ride into the mountains I think I've ever had, and it didn't even hold a candle to what was to come when we got up there. Once we broke out into the you know, big bowls and backcountry up here in the mountains, it was just, it leaves you at a loss for words, really. I mean, there's all kinds of words you can use that make you sound cool, like epic and awesome and stuff, and they just don't do it justice.
So right away we drop off the trail, and I mean, when you're riding in the mountains, it's something that I always am amazed at. The people who are locals and who know the spots, they take you over this hill, through this valley, across this one, over here, up and over and down, and I mean, I feel like I don't know where north is. Man, I'm trying to struggle to find up, and these guys are just like, follow me over here, we're gonna go over this next valley, we're gonna go through this, and boom, you open up into these beautiful meadows and these untouched, untracked spots that are just mint.
Well, today we're up, you know, we're in Boulder Mountain in Revelstoke, BC, and we're here today with the Snow Tracks fellas, Luke and AJ. We're going to let them experience Yamaha 4-stroke snowmobiles in a mountain environment. The 2016 Yamaha Viper MTX with our factory-approved 180 turbo kit. We feel that we've made great strides in that chassis and the handling, and make them really boondocking type snowmobiles, not just sheer hill climbers based on horsepower. So we want them to experience that.
So the real issue for AJ and I coming out to do this, the only concern I think he and I actually had was that we hadn't ridden a snowmobile all year. I haven't swung a leg over a snowmobile at all because there's just no snow at home. So we were a little worried coming out with guys who are professional snowmobilers and have had a few days under their belts this year, ride in the mountains all the time. We didn't want to look stupid, basically, is what it boiled down to.
Found some really cool cornices that were built up and blown over that we were, just kind of jumping off and trying to do, turn downs and stuff like that, and ripping up. We found some nice uphill climbs where we were all as a group, able to climb up and then come down and kind of powder hook and carve coming back down the hill as a group. Lots of technical stuff, riding in some trees, but there was a good variety of both tree riding and then also kind of open meadow and cornices and stuff that's been blown in.
Went out back with all the Vipers at a field of Vipers and took them out in the back and found some cool off cambers, beautiful tree lines, found some deep powder. Really showed what these Vipers are capable and still nimble and flickable machines, and had a blast.
We really just wanted to see a variety of terrain while we were here. The idea was to just get a great feel for how these Viper MTX turbos handle in all conditions. That's what we wanted.
It was awesome riding. These Yamaha sleds, the power that an MPI kit adds to a Viper is just insane. It doesn't matter what altitude you're at. Here we're riding maybe 6,000 to 7,000 feet. This thing is making that 180, horsepower all the time.
Well, the reason I think the Yamaha Viper MTX is such a great sled is the 4-stroke technology. We know it's a little heavier. I don't think it scares a lot of people. It's certainly, the new chassis with the new 2016 front end has made it very maneuverable. I think you'll witness that and you'll feel it yourself when you go and ride it, because it is something that is very comparable to any of the current 2-strokes on the market. When 4-strokes came along, we had the RX-1 Mountain, and then we had Apex Mountain, and Phaser Mountain, and Nitro Mountain MTX. So we've had a long history of MTX models, and we're really proud of the latest offering in the Viper MTX.
Whenever we go to the mountains, this is kind of what we look for. Some really sweet kind of blown in drift to hit with a really nice landing, and this one's one of the best. You can hit it pretty much full speed, and because it's an uphill landing, you don't hit very hard when you come down, but there's also a few cool things you can do, kind of getting the sled sideways. This is what AJ and I, whenever we come to the mountains, this is what we're hunting for every time, and we found one.
Riding with Randy and Brock was super cool. I mean, these guys are pros. They know what they're doing. They know where they're going, and they can get just about anywhere. I mean, it was like it always is in the mountains. It's special riding with guys who are pros because you can watch them do stuff, and they'll give you tips and tricks and advice, and say, hey, maybe try it like this or do it like this. And it's cool because Randy is very interested in how you like this sled, what you feel about it, what your input is, what you're getting back from the snowmobile. And we were all talking as a group many times just about how you have to ride a 4-stroke a little differently. And most guys, if you're riding in a group and somebody says, hey, take my sled out for a spin, that's not a fair shakedown. You got to get on one of these snowmobiles and ride it for a day, 2 days, 3 days, and that's exactly what we were able to do.
Well, I know that the SnowTrax guys have been on snow a lot. I know they've been all over probably the world snowmobiling in different terrains and different environments. So I'm pretty confident they had some skills. So to watch them show those SRViper MTXs around like a current 2-stroke, I was really impressed.
If you're going to venture off into the mountains, be it here in Revelstoke or anywhere else in the world, the most important thing you got to do is you got to go with somebody who knows the area. You can't just take off and ride mountains. Mountains are all unique. Maybe you look at a slope on one mountain in one area and you look at it and you say, well, that's going to be safe, and you're right, but that exact same looking slope on another mountain somewhere else is extremely dangerous.
What's really important when you're riding in this type of terrain is that you have some education when it comes to not only just safety, but avalanche education. Avalanche knowledge, empowerment, getting your buddies in the classroom as well. So we really encourage, as Yamaha and also every manufacturer through ISMA, we support the Canadian Avalanche Centre, which is now called Avalanche Canada. And it's important that we get our customers into the classroom, and every dealer works with that customer base and gets them into a classroom to get some avalanche education, and you always keep learning from that. And a refresher course every 2 years, you know, practice, and make sure you always empower your friends and your riding buddies to get in that classroom as well with you.
I had a great time on these Vipers with the MPI Turbo kits. I mean, honestly, it was a really, really good experience for me to get on a mountain sled with a 4-stroke and a turbo and have the time to really give it a good fair shake. With that said, I gotta tell you, I was pretty amped about day 2, which was gonna be snow bikes. So our day 2 was gonna be all about snow bikes, and we had Brock, who was gonna give us like the full, you know, experience on these things. And then we also had a fella from Revelstoke named Rozzy, who was kind enough to hook us up with the brand new 2016 YZ450F bikes with the Yeti 129 kit on it.
I mean, to say that I was excited would be an understatement, but I was also super nervous because as much as everybody can tell you this is going to be so easy, and the guys all kept saying, this is easy, you know snow, you know riding snowmobiles, you'll be fine out there, you've ridden dirt bikes in your past and you'll be fine. I just didn't believe them.
I gotta tell you, I was intimidated. I mean, looking at a snow bike on hard packed snow, you're not sure if you're going to be able to ride this thing.
So Rozzy gives us this rundown on the bikes and kind of explains everything, and then we headed off out the trail for an adventure that we've never had before.
They have good sledding backgrounds, so we knew that we'd throw them right into the heart of it right away, gave them a couple quick little tips, and as fast as you told them, they were learning it and flying up the trail right off behind you.
We get to that first little bit of powder, and my goodness, this is, I can't put words to it, and no matter how I tell you, you're probably not gonna believe it, but you should, because these guys told me this is easy, this is fun, and you're gonna have a blast. This was easy, this was fun, and I had a freaking blast.
And the guys kept telling us, when you get in the deep snow, the bike is more stable than any other vehicle you're gonna ride. 100% stable, it wants to be in deep snow. And it's like, yeah, but it's still a bike. It's still tall and it's still narrow. It's gonna wanna fall over. It doesn't.
And we didn't hold up when we got up to Boulder in Revelstoke, BC. We definitely threw them off some cool stuff and into terrain that, you know, it would have been a little difficult on a sled just because of the trees and getting hung up and stuck, and they blasted right through it with no problems.
I think the best part of this experience, and certainly the most useful part in terms of riding the snow bikes, was that we got to ride with Brock and Randy, and Brock in particular is an exceptionally talented snow bike rider. So riding with them was great because it gave me an opportunity to see what could happen, what could we do, where could we go. I just followed them, and sure enough, anywhere they took us, whether I looked at it and said that's impossible or not, we did it, we got out, everything went well, and it was just a fantastic experience.
It's super cool to see how this sport is evolved and how there's different brands and different versions, but at the heart of all of what we were riding is the 450 power plant from Yamaha and the 450 YZ, which is just it's a work of freaking art.
While before it might have been a little unattainable for the average person to go out and ride a snow bike, it's not anymore. If you're here, or if you want a place to go to try something new that you're gonna love, come here and rent a snow bike. Come here and rent a YZ with a Yeti kit on it and take it up in the mountains and give it a try. I guarantee if you're the kind of guy who likes a challenge but also likes to just shred in powder, you're gonna love a snow bike. So make sure you got enough money in the bank to buy one when you get home.
It was a super fun experience. Honestly, this might be one of the best times I've had in deep snow, and riding with great people, great equipment, in a really beautiful area. My mind is slightly blown right now because I didn't think that what is possible on a snow bike can be done. And I'm left going home back to Flatland, Ontario, where we aren't gonna have too much snow yet. And I will be thinking about this and remembering this and wishing that I was back up in these mountains in Boulder with a YZ 450F and a Yeti 129 kit. This was just awesome.
If you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more content from Snowtrax TV, click the like button and subscribe to the Snowtrax TV YouTube channel.